Hello everybody, this is Bronson. This is my By Any Means Necessary Fantasy Sports Talk video series. We're moving into basketball. No more football. Football season's over, unfortunately. That's the big one, the big money maker, the big point of interest. I know basketball's not as popular, not as fun to talk about, not as fun to play, but I'm going to try to do my best to make it entertaining for you. I'm going to stick with the same tried and true method from last year. Just do 8 things I like and don't like, 8 likes and dislikes, or 8 spikes and yikes. Keep that theme from football. And today, to start the year, we're going to talk about rookies mostly, and stuff like that. But before we get into that, I want to update you a little bit on my current situation. I'm currently in a 5-day COVID quarantine. Even though I am not sick, I'm not tested positive, I have no symptoms. My direct supervisor, my phone is, there we go. My direct supervisor at my job at the airport with SSP, I don't even know, I probably not legally allowed to talk about it. I already put the company name out there. I'm not gonna name any names, but my direct supervisor tested. He's been sick since Friday. He went home early on Friday. Got his weekend started early, and I believe he came back to work Monday. Was okay. Worked yesterday. I think he was feeling a little sluggish still. Tuesday, Wednesday. Went home early yesterday. Had a doctor's appointment. Ended up taking a COVID test. Tested positive. The news got back to the big bosses, and I was immediately sent home. I wasn't even able to finish what I was doing, which was putting stuff away because I'm not unvaccinated, close contact. I now have a mandatory 5-day quarantine to see if any symptoms show up. As of 24 hours in, no symptoms, and I have a test. I was able to get scheduled for a test Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m., which is another thing. I'm supposed to fly out on a trip on Saturday afternoon, and this could potentially put that in massive jeopardy. And I could potentially lose some money because I am not going to be able to get a refund on my hotel at this point in time. Even though, no, that's not true. It's not a prepay. But they have my credit card information. And if I was going to cancel, I'm supposed to do it 48 hours ahead of time, which means I should have done it now. I should be doing it now, and I have not, because I'm still holding out hope that I'm going to test negative on Saturday. But I will know. It's a rapid test. It's going to take 20 to 30 minutes. 10:30 a.m. Saturday. I will know by 11:15 Saturday morning if I am positive for COVID. And at that point, I will either make my way to the airport and have a good weekend, or I'll be staying home and trying to cancel my stuff. I don't know. This is my first trip where I'm renting a car, so I don't know if I'm able to get a refund on that if I end up not going. I'm not gonna be able to get a refund on my plane tickets because I didn't pay for the insurance, because insurance is a fucking scam. But I should be able to exchange it for credit towards future flights, which would be nice. That's not the end of the world. And my hotel, I'm not sure how that's going to work either, because like I said, it's a 48-hour thing. So even though I don't pay till I get there, it's on hold as of now, officially as of now. And so because I have a reservation and I'm on hold now, they're probably gonna charge me some sort of money if I end up not going. So yeah, it's a mess. I'm kind of stressed out. I don't feel like I'm gonna test positive, but I could be asymptomatic and could test positive, and that's really gonna put some guilt in my mind about going on this trip. Exposing people on the plane, exposing other people. It's really gonna be upsetting because I've been waiting. I haven't gone on a trip since mid-November, so it's been almost 2 months, and I'm really jonesing for one, and I was really looking forward to this one, and so I'm really hoping that I can go. But those coworkers who are watching here, I've already gotten texts from some coworkers at the airport asking me if I was sick, what was going on, because I'm not there today, because I'm a very reliable employee, which I'm proud of. And so they were worried about me, and I told them what was going on. And my coworkers at UPS, I know I have a couple of you who watch this. You're probably wondering why I wasn't there today. Same situation. UPS's policy is the same as my other company's policy. So I have a mandatory 5-day quarantine. I'm losing out on some money because I didn't take any sick time. I still could take some sick time for the time I'm missing at the airport. I could do that retroactively, which is nice if I decide I want to do that. I have, because the pay period just started yesterday, the new pay period. So I have basically 2 weeks to decide if I'm going to do that or not. So we'll see. Right now, I'm just trying to focus on not testing, worry about not testing positive and my trip. And then when I come back from that trip, I'll start worrying about all that stuff. But man, yeah. So it's been a weird 24 hours. I do think it's weird that all the people that are vaccinated, the people that I know that are catching it are vaccinated people. And so I'm not saying that the vaccine doesn't work, but perhaps the vaccine doesn't work, because if people are vaccinated and catching it, and I'm not catching it and I'm not vaccinated, I mean, I've always trusted that my immune system, that's basically the main reason I didn't get it. I trust my immune system to do its job. I have a very good immune system, and I've also, consulted with my family members, my grandparents, people who I see who are going to be mostly affected by me giving them COVID, and my grandparents are the real ones I'm worried about. They don't give a shit, so I'm not going to get, vaccinated for them if they don't care. So, yeah. Anyways, let's talk some fantasy basketball now. The 8 things I like and don't like. Always starting with the things I don't like. These are the main, most notable disappointments for me in my early fantasy basketball season here. Starting with Luka Doncic. I was so high on Luka coming into the season. I drafted him everywhere I could in redraft. I got him. I took him with the #1 overall pick in my Dynasty startup draft. I love Luka. I'm really excited for Luka's future, but Luka this year has been trash. Honestly, he came into the season out of shape, unmotivated. He has such a bright future. He's such a good player, so talented. He could go down as one of the GOATs of all time if he really if he was really focused on being that kind of player. But it seems like he's not at this point, and I don't know if at this point in his life, if you don't have that it factor, you're not going to develop it over time. So I'm worried about Luka in the future. I'm not worried about him not being talented. He's going to be talented. I'm just worried about him not really getting better. And so yeah, it's a big concern. He's been injured a lot, hasn't played well when he has been on the court. He's been a massive disappointment for me this year. Next, we're going to talk Chris Boucher, the former Oregon Duck. He's had such a breakout year last year in a fairly limited role for the Toronto Raptors as a backup last year. A lot of people had him pegged for an even bigger year this year for Toronto, and that has not panned out at all. His role seems to be getting smaller for whatever reason. Nobody seems to know except the guy who is reducing his minutes, which would be his coach up there in Toronto, which would be Nick Nurse. And he's not talking. And I'm not trying to say Nick Nurse isn't a good coach, because Nick Nurse is a good coach. He's proven that throughout his career. He's the guy that took Toronto to a championship. I know that he had Kawhi at that time. That makes a difference. But Nick Nurse was the guy who, they'd gotten pretty stale under Dwayne Casey. They fired Dwayne Casey, hired Nick Nurse, instantly win a championship. Okay, Nick Nurse changed the culture, changed the offense. He did what he needed to do to get that team to championship. Nick Nurse is a great coach. But I am questioning his decision on Chris Boucher. Why is Chris Boucher not getting more minutes for the Raptors? It's been frustrating for a lot of owners. I've moved on from Chris Boucher in most of my leagues, except for my money league, because my money league is so deep, and so I haven't wanted to drop a guy like that because Chris Boucher started out slowly last year, and then he really took off after the new year. So I'm kind of hoping that is what happens here again for Chris Boucher. But man, it's been frustrating to wait this out. I'm not a patient person. It's one of my biggest flaws. And but I do still have Chris Boucher in my money league. Next player to talk about that I'm not liking, Jalen Suggs. I had really high hopes for Jalen Suggs coming into the season. He was my Rookie of the Year pick. I loved him at Gonzaga. I thought he has that it factor that was gonna, he was gonna be the star player that Orlando desperately needed. I really loved his fit. He was my guy in all dynasty. He was my top rookie in dynasty, and he was my top rookie in redraft this year. He's been a massive disappointment when he was playing, and now he's hurt. He's been hurt since like November. There's no updates on his injury, which is shady to me. It's concerning to me. He's slow healing. He's not even back at practice yet. I'm not liking it. I do have Luka and Jalen Suggs in the same dynasty team, and they are my guards of the future that I'm hoping will pan out. But right now, it is looking bad. And so, but that team, that dynasty startup team that I drafted with the intent to suck for a couple of years and build it up with the youth. I got a lot of picks. I got a lot of young players, a lot of rookies from this year to grow around Luka and hopefully be a really good team in a couple of years. But if Luka and Jalen Suggs don't get better, they're kind of my main focal points of the team, and they both suck and have some serious problems. And lastly, the last thing I don't like are these health and safety protocols, because the NBA is being real strict, which is fine. I do think that we're all overreacting to this COVID stuff, but the NBA is taking it seriously, which is great because there's a lot of fans attend games. You want to crack down on this stuff, but like it's a 10-day quarantine, no matter what, whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated. So what is the point of these players getting vaccinated if it's, if they're gonna have to sit out 10 days either way, right? So like, it's just crazy. But the one good thing is these health and safety protocols have been decimating everybody's fantasy teams over the last month or so. My money, you should see the rosters in my money league team, man. Our IRs, we have like our IR goes like 8 or 10 deep. I don't remember. Everybody's was full, and then we were picking up these absolutely garbage players off waivers to fill. That's roster filler. It's been a crazy month, but the good thing out of these protocols is that a lot of young guys are getting an opportunity to showcase themselves because these teams are needing bodies to occupy these minutes. And so that's been the one good thing. It's been great for some of my dynasty teams having this influx of new players to eat up some minutes for us. And a lot of them, like Derek Walton, stuff like that, are really taking their opportunity and running with it. But so that's the one good thing. But overall, the health and safety protocols have been massively detrimental to the fantasy season. And I'm 14 minutes in and I haven't even started talking about the good yet. But good. So I want to focus on the rookies with this first rendition of 8 things I like and don't like. Starting with let's start with Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey was a really promising prospect coming in. I really liked him. I thought he was going to be a good player. I thought he was going to be like a Ben Simmons type. But I thought he needed some seasoning. He was a little young, a little inexperienced. We were wrong. That was not the case. He's looked outstanding so far this year. He's in the running for Rookie of the Year. He looks like a guy who's going to be a future star. Oklahoma City Thunder, as much as I hate them, it looks like they found themselves a really good one. Next, Franz Wagner was another guy who like everybody knew he'd be a really good player, a good shooter. But we kind of figured that he would be more of a role player, especially, in Orlando, and not so much offensive focal point. But he has been another guy who's been outstanding this year. Looks like he's been the best rookie in fantasy. He may be the rookie of the year front runner in real life. He's definitely surprised everybody. He went from being a guy that nobody was drafting in redraft to being probably the hottest waiver wire pickup of the season to date. Next, another first rounder, Chris Duarte out of Oregon. He's a guy that I was really high on. I knew he was NBA ready. Everybody kind of knew he was NBA ready. He's another guy who we also thought would be a really good role player who step into a team that was ready to win, and he would be the guy who would help you get over the hump. Ended up going lottery, which surprised a lot of people, but he has proven that he was worth it. He's been outstanding for the Pacers offensively, been a really good scorer. Where did this come from? Like, I knew he was a really great player at Oregon, but he was never the guy that we, really ever took over a game as a scorer. But he's done that here in the NBA early on in his rookie season, so that's been nice to see. Chris Duarte has been another hot waiver wire pickup. And lastly, second rounder, Herbert Jones. I was not a Herbert Jones fan going into the draft at all, but I love him now. He's doing great in the categories, the lesser like stocks. That's combined steals and blocks. Those are the categories that are really hard to find in fantasy, and when you play categories, you need a player like that. And he's been outstanding just all around. He's been really good. He is a guy who could be an all-rookie first-team member as a second-round pick, which is relatively unheard of. That doesn't happen very often. A lot of teams missed on Herbert Jones, and they're kicking themselves in the ass now. Me being one of them, I didn't draft him in any of my dynasty drafts. I just wasn't a fan of him. Didn't like him. Didn't think he was going to be a very good NBA player. Clearly, I was wrong on that, and I've been trying to acquire him in trades, but it's not happening. Sucks. He's definitely he's played himself out of the price that I'm willing to pay to get him. So, and he's in New Orleans, which is where he is, has really needed him. In the wake of the whole Zion thing, which is another massive disappointment. Zion hasn't played a minute of basketball this year. I was high on Zion coming this year. I knew he was going to miss some time with that foot injury, but I never suspected it was going to be the entire, all of 2021. I mean, he was supposed to miss a couple of weeks, and now we have no idea when his fat ass is going to be back on the court. Another Duke bust, it's looking like at this point. So, okay, that's the video. I cannot believe I talked for 18 minutes about 8 basketball players. But yeah, so I'm okay. Anybody's concerned about me, I'm fine. I do have a, runny nose, but I don't think that's COVID related. That's just me having terrible sinuses, because I'm genetically inclined for a bad nose. And I think I have a deviated septum, blah, 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 blah. I think I've talked about this before. My sinuses have always been a problem. My entire life probably always will be, unless I undergo really expensive cosmetic surgery. So, yeah, I'm assuming it's not COVID related, having a runny nose. It's also relatively cold and very wet outside, so that's another reason I cannot wait to get out of here. I'm never been a fan of downpours. Like a little bit of rain, fine. I'm an Oregonian. I don't believe in an umbrella. I like hoodies. A little bit of rain, not a big deal. But when it's just a freaking downpour for days at a time, it's very depressing. I don't want to go outside. Don't want to do anything. My seasonal depression is amped up big time. I need to get out of here, go somewhere where there's no rain, and I'm looking forward to that. So please, I am hoping to God, if he exists, if he's real, I question my faith because he ignores my when I ask him for simple things, simple prayers, he completely ignores me. So, I'm questioning that, but I'm hoping I don't test positive, because I don't want to feel guilty about going somewhere, because I'm going. I've already paid for it. I've been planning this, excited about this for weeks. I'm going. I'm a stubborn person. I've already made up my mind, and I know that's irresponsible, but I'm going. So I'm hoping I don't test negative. I'm hoping I don't test positive, because as long as I don't test positive, I will have no guilt about going. So yeah, sue me, arrest me, I guess, whatever. But I'm gonna end this now. I'm over 20 minutes. Peace, love, and nacho fries. Hang loose. Good luck in your fantasy basketball seasons. I'm always here to answer your questions or whatever it is that's fantasy sports related. Already looking forward to baseball season, because basketball is my favorite sport to play. Been a fan since I was like 4 years old. It's just not a very fun fantasy game. So Dynasties makes it a lot more fun, and I'm discovering the categories also is making it a little bit more challenging, even though my teams are doing really well, except for one team that started out like 8-0, but COVID has completely decimated it, and I'm really stacked, so I've been reluctant to drop any money to help me get through the week. So I've lost 3 straight. I finally made a move. Finally dropped Jalen Suggs and added like Josh Hart, I think it was. So hopefully that'll help me stay afloat until all my guys come back. But yeah, so most of my teams are doing pretty well. The categories add some challenge, which I'm liking, and Dynasty, is year round, keeps me interested, because there's no off season, there's no slow time, there's trades happening all the time, and anytime someone makes one trade, that opens up like 10 different possibilities where he has it's like a Rubik's Cube. It's really, really awesome. But just straight head-to-head points basketball, completely boring, and I don't recommend playing it. Probably after this year, not going to play straight head-to-head points basketball ever again. So anyways, I'm still rambling. 22 minutes in, I'm done. I'm over it. We're going to talk some more basketball sometime, possibly tomorrow, since I'm not doing anything else. And yeah, so peace out. Good night.